How safe do you feel right now living here in the UK? Welcome, friends. Yes, here we are again, and I was just curious to know what you guys and girls actually think, what you see and hear is going on here in the UK, which is not really talked about in the mainstream press. Now, I've just taken some notes here based on what I am seeing myself, and lots of people email me. So if you do want to email me what you are understanding about this topic in this video, the email address is below this video. So let's get into it, shall we? Crime and violence is up. Are you seeing that sort of thing where you live? Whether you're in a town, a city, in the countryside, in villages, have you noticed an increase? I would say this year. It would be really interesting to know what you feel about this, because like I say, I don't really see this much being covered in the mainstream press. It's all about politics and etc, or what's going on in Israel, all of these things and sideshows. So feeling safe is very important. It's good for mental health and loads of other things. Shoplifting, that is absolutely going up, and why wouldn't it? Let's be honest. When people are struggling financially, people are getting desperate. And what I am seeing, if with my own eyes, even in a rural area where I live, I travel like 15 miles or so to the nearest town, and when I go in there, the amount of times I've heard that beeper when people walk through the door to go out, and it's not challenged at all. So it just makes me think, when is it going to come to a point when people are going to start to say to themselves, I'm really struggling financially. I'm going to see if I can get away with it. I see that actually going up. Let me know if you've seen and heard this sort of thing as well. When you go through the doors to go out, beep, 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 and there's no security guards. People just walk out. No one even looks. Now, that is quite a worrying thought to behold in itself. No one seems to worry anymore. Are you noticing these sorts of things happening where you are? When I just said like crime and violence is up, the amount of footage that we are seeing on social media, completely unedited, of all of the stuff going on in the major UK cities, London, Birmingham, Liverpool, Nottingham, Glasgow, etc. It just seems the more densely populated areas within the UK, the more crime there is. What about vandalism? Are you seeing lots of graffiti, weeds that aren't being like cut down in the streets, making it look and feel untidy? Street lights not working, it's a bit darker, it feels a bit dangerous. Things getting broken and not really being fixed as fast as we would hope. It all adds into that fear of, it does seem, and it's horrible to say this, but it does seem that we are witnessing the very beginnings of a societal collapse. I know it sounds far-fetched and over the top, but just check the comment section below and read through them. I urge you to do that, because it will give you a feeling of what people are seeing and hearing. Like I've said in so many videos, and I've been making them for over 10 years now. Just because you're not seeing it yourself, it doesn't mean to say it's not going on. So I really urge you guys to look through the comments. So vandalism, that does appear to be on the rise. Obviously, things going up like prices. Like I just said earlier, things are getting so expensive now and way out of people's price ranges. So yes, prices are going up, and I don't foresee them stabilizing or coming down anytime soon. This does appear to be on the increase, and I see it will continue to rise as we go through time. Also, the amount of CCTV cameras, not just in supermarkets and things like that, but on the ends of streets and things. Were they there before a few years ago? Are they there now? Speaking of CCTV, what about body cams? How do you feel about people working in supermarkets wearing body cameras? Personally, I don't like the idea of myself being captured on film. Believe it or not, I'm quite a private person, even though I appear on social media. I don't like talking about my private or personal life. It's no one's business. I just feel a bit invaded when I'm talking to someone who works in a supermarket, asking them a question of where can I find X, Y, and Z to save me time looking around. And they have this yellow camera recording me. Now, I believe that some of these cameras are live streaming, okay? So it all gets fed back through a central control base somewhere out of the building itself and continually being recorded. I don't know how long these recordings are kept for. I understand that some members of staff feel safer wearing these because they are being assaulted. Now, be absolutely free to have a look online, on YouTube even, about the threats and stuff that's happening to people who work in supermarkets. I've been hearing comments underneath these videos that I've been watching this morning, and we've had reports of people working within supermarkets for 20 odd years and they've never seen it as bad as what it is now. Again, I'm really keen to know on what you're seeing. Of course, send me an email. That's below the video too, like I said earlier. A&D, accident and emergency. The cases are going up all of the time. Now, we know that the NHS is being grossly mismanaged or poorly managed for a long period of time now, for at least 10, maybe 20 years. We've had healthcare trusts put into place. We've seen people saying that there is so much management within the NHS now. It's completely unnecessary. It's draining so much money out of what we contribute with regards national insurance contributions. All of that money which we are paying into the system to provide ourselves with healthcare seems to be gobbled up by management which don't really need to be there. You've only got to speak to nurses and doctors who work within hospitals. They will tell you it's just ridiculous. We need to put more funding for more nurses and more doctors and less management. That's my own personal opinion. Again, let me know in the comment section how you feel about this. Obviously, there's been a dramatic rise in sexual abuse. Now, we are, I believe, aware that sexual abuse in the UK has been going on for a long, long time, especially the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even the 90s. Not really being reported. So that is literally rising flipping phenomenally, which is it's just so sad to hear. The use of weapons have gone up as well. You know, gone are the days in the 80s when you had like football hooliganism. Most of it was done with fists and maybe the odd knife now again. It seems now, from the reports that I've been getting from emails, prompting me to look at certain videos on all sorts of social media channels, and the use of weapons is absolutely astonishing. Now, we're not talking about quality, high, very expensive custom-made knives. We're talking about cheap knives that you can buy in a market or at Tesco's or whatever it is. They are usually the ones being used in all of these crimes. It's nothing to do with purpose-built, say, bushcraft or survival knives, okay? I would like to see the statistics on how many knife crimes have been committed in the UK with the value of the knife over, say, £100. I would say it's very, very, very small indeed. Anything sharp will literally do the job, and we are seeing lots and lots of weapons being used in crimes on the streets here in the United Kingdom. Theft is going up when people are poorer. The wages are very, very low. Everything is going up, so lots of people are turning to steal things, to sell, to get some money, just to make sure that they can pay their energy bills. We're in the start of autumn now, and the temperatures are already slowly starting to drop, and you are going to see theft. Now, it's usually been done in like gardens and cars, opportunists and all of that sort of thing. We'll come on to a bit of that in a sec. Obviously, with all of this going up, is it a coincidence or is it just me? Immigration goes up. Migrants are coming into the country unvetted, unchecked. We have no idea of their background, and we are seeing a very, very steep rise in crime across all of the spectrums here in the United Kingdom. Dangerous dogs. Back in the days in the council estate when people wore tracksuits and had a pit bull terrier, there's so many reports of lots of people walking around with hard dogs nowadays. For protection or whatever it is, maybe it's a status symbol, I don't really know, but that seems to be rising rapidly too. Sales insecurity. So things that people are using to protect their home. So people are being putting like film over windows, so if the window breaks, it's not going to go through, and it's going to give the occupants more time to address the issue. Barbed wire, all sorts of things, like door cameras which are live stream video constantly. People are spending more money in securing their property and indeed their person as well. People are using items to defend themselves on the streets here in the UK. Drug abuse literally goes hand in hand with crime. The only way that you are going to survive living on the streets, if you have a drug habit, you are going to turn to shoplifting and lots of other things. That is absolutely on the rise too. When you look at society as a whole, where everything seems to be slowly falling apart, lots of people turn to drink, which is another thing on the rise as well. People are drinking more than normal. People are taking drugs more than normal. People are starting to experiment with drugs to escape all of this fear. And it is fear. People are fearful. It does seem to be growing here in the UK. And also gambling. If you haven't got much money, you know, it starts with like scratch cards or things like that. It starts with going to the bookies to put money on a horse or a football match. If you can't really afford it and your bet loses, it puts you more into a depressive state. And if you end up struggling to pay for the bills and you are made homeless, which is another thing which is on the rise of UK homeless is insane. And sad to say, the amount of military veterans who are now living on our streets is at an all-time high right now. The stuff that they've done for their country, trying to do their best to ensure we have some level of democracy and safety for our families and loved ones, only to end up on the streets, usually down to PTSD because they are not being looked after properly. And again, they could fall into the trap of drink and drug abuse as well. It's terrible. Failing towns. We've spoken about this on videos before. So a failing town is officially classed nowadays. So you're looking at a rise in charity shops, betting shops, pawnbrokers, and pound shops, the cheap shops, okay? When you start to see independent businesses close and go for good, being replaced with all of those 4 or 5 different types of stores, which I just mentioned. Are you seeing that where you live? I know it's been going on for a long time, but have you seen a rapid increase? Moreover, for just this year. So with all of those things being said, to make matters worse, police numbers do appear to be falling. Lots of police officers are being signed off work with stress because of all sorts of issues. Lots of young police officers who just have not got the experience in how to deal with violence and all of these sorts of things. The stuff that I've seen so far, you've probably seen it yourself on Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is. It's incredible. There was one guy who was trying to be arrested. There's 4 or 5 police officers involved. One of them is practically unconscious on the floor, and the other 2 or 3 were really struggling to apprehend this criminal. For whatever he'd done, I've got no idea. It's just what I've seen online. And it just seems that the level of training and strength within the police seems to be falling too, leaving us, the citizens of the UK, pretty much open for attacks, assaults, etc. Let me know if you've become a victim because of all of this. This year, I would really like to hear your story. And if you want to, you can send me an email. And if you want me to talk about it, and if you want to remain anonymous, I completely get that. It's absolutely guaranteed. Your name and details will not be revealed. If you find this video of interest, can you please share it on all of the networks? WhatsApp, Facebook, Telegram are very good to really spread this message out there, because we're really keen to understand an historical data capture point of the times, because this is not really being talked about on mainstream, and this community is growing. More and more people are coming on board to try and learn of what's going on and how they can prepare themselves so they do not become a victim in all manner of speaking. Please give the video a thumbs up if you liked what you see and hear. It really helps get this message out. So let me know what you think, and don't forget the email address is below the video. In any way that you can donate helps this channel, because I'm doing this all by myself. It really helps. You guys take care. Thanks for watching and stay funky.